What's today? April 14, Wednesday, sorry, Thursday. And we had a decent gap down list this morning. We had the STX on top of it. The first one on the list today is STX, gapping down to the dead zone here. And then we had WDC. Both worked. I think we picked the right one, and it was the STX. So market was pretty much neutral. We gapped just a tiny up on the day, and the more bullish bias if we stayed above 208. That wasn't the case. Here's the 2-minute uptrend. So we went south, and now we're fighting the 208 numbers. Now we're trying to make new highs. But why do we trade the gaps? Because I don't really care what the market is going to do or where it's going to go. I just trade the weakness and the strength, and that's the beauty of this system. So once market is fighting to make new highs, and maybe it can do it, and it's thinking again and again, that STX proving me that it's already guilty and weak for the first before even the day started, and I'm watching it carefully on the first 1 minute, and here's the 932 candle, and we measured the low here. It was 943, 944, and the entry was just under 943. Now, as far as the stop according to our book, according to the manual, should be high the date. There's no way I'm going to give this a 40-cent stop or a 50-cent stop. I wouldn't take the trade if that's the case. We cheated the stop just a tiny bit, and we placed it at 70 or 71, 2, 3, or 4. You choose. Why is that? Because it's easier for me to calculate the entry 43 by 73. And again, you could have done 70 just fine. 25 cents, 27 cents of a stop. I wish we had something smaller, but that's what it gives us, and we have to follow the rules and just take the right size. Remember, money management is the key, so you cannot cheat your size. I'm warning you, if you're going to take too many shares, it will not work. Okay, and if you take just 100 shares to test it, just 50, just 10 shares or whatever, it will work big. So one of you said, oh, I didn't have enough size. It's nothing to do with size, it's the risk. If it's 25 cents, you have to. Your job is to take as many shares as you can, as long as you stay within this 1 hour limit that you set yourself. So when you get into a trade, you know that you lose a certain amount of money and nothing more. Okay, and that's when you accept the risk. Accept the risk means you're going to lose, I don't know, $100. Accept the risk means you know that the trade might not work. Accept the risk, you know that anything can happen, okay, in the market or the stock. But this is what I mean by saying accepting the risk. We talked about it in the last week presentation. So this is the entry just under the low. This is the stop. And now money management. And you guys, one of you, I'm not going to mention names, one of you said, I don't have it anymore. I gave it back. Thanks. Nice trade. And that was at 29, right? It paid 30 cents. I'm taking the money and run. Why? Okay, just the beginning. According to the rules, the 2-hour mark, that's where you take profits, and then you let it ride more. And we kept moving the stop lower and lower. And if you really want to stay in the move longer, you have to stop watching the chart. You have to stop looking at the level 2. You have to stop switching from a 5-minute chart to a 1-minute chart and looking at the candles, because every green candle bothers you. Every time you see green, you get annoyed. Okay, and then you feel better when it's a red candle. So my way in order to avoid this is just very simple. I don't look at them. I just don't look at them. I put the entry, I put the stop. Here's target, I take F. Is there a reason to move my stop? If there is, I'm going to move it. But I kept the original stop until we got pretty much here to 28.5, I believe. Okay, so we reached target 28.5 and then we rode it all the way. I didn't get 28. I left some shillings, as I say, on the table. I took it at 28.13, I believe. Okay, so I said I want to get as close as 20 as I can to 28, and 28.13, that's the best I could do. Obviously, it's not a mistake. That was the plan. I stuck to my plan, and it did bleed to 27.30. I don't really call it leaving money at the table, even though it is. It is what it is. I mean, there's 70 cents that I didn't enjoy, but I managed it perfectly as far as my plan. Yes, I could have let maybe another 200 shares ride or something like that. You can do that, and I recommend you to do that. Like that trade we stayed this week until 359. I forgot, forgive me again if you want to mention the symbol here. There was a trade we took this week, and we stayed in it until just few seconds before the market closed to enjoy the last few pennies of it. So that's my target. That's my goal every day. I come here, I take a trade. If it's a loser, I'm going to kill it at 1 hour. If it's a winner, I'm going to stay in it until the stock proves me wrong. And I'm not going to mention name because this is recorded, but you have to start think like that. If you want to make this a profession, if you want to trade for a living, if you see yourself doing it next month, next year, in next 5 years, ask yourself, do I want to do it for life? I'm sure the answer is yes. You don't really have to ask yourself. But if you want to do that, you really have to grow up from that novice trader that you were many years ago. Okay, some of you a few months, some of you one, but there's one person here that I know for a few years, and you made that mistake today. You're not allowed to. And those mistakes that we make, as Mark Douglas says, 95% of the mistakes we make will come from fear. So ask yourself, what fear, what were you afraid of this morning when you took the STX and you worked, it paid you, worked your way. What made you kill it early? Was it the fear of leaving money on the table, or is the fear to lose at that point? Ask yourself, please trade fear-free. Do anything you can in order to trade fear-free. If it means to reduce the size, please reduce the size. Okay, you have to trust the system. Remember, you don't need to know what the market is going to do next. You really don't need to know, and anything can happen. So that was the STX trade. Again, we wrote it pretty much. 28 was a target for me, and 27.30, that's where it got. I looked at the daily. Where did I come up with that 28 number? I looked at the daily. Yeah, this is what I saw. This area when we got there. And yeah, it's looking like it wants to do even a gap fill here, but I'm not so greedy this morning. I'm very happy with this trade. Every day I would take just one a day like this and leave, really. Okay, so this is the STX. There's one thing I want to talk about with the STX. One thing that I did not like about it. Any of you remember? I'm going to show you what I did not like about it, and that's when I looked at the pre-market. This is the pre-market chart, and as I said before the open at our recap 9:15, I said I want to see an attempt to go higher. Well, we didn't really get that. So I really, if this came back to 30.50, this would be even a better trade for me. Okay, first of all, it's going higher, so that means more room for profits. That's number one. And then I'm not going to use the word extended, but this is already coming from a nice down move. Okay, so I really want to see it breathe. It didn't breathe. I had to try it. I had to take it. Okay, that's the one thing, because it's very hard to find the perfect trade when everything aligns, every single thing, the market, the trend, the MAs, everything. It's very hard, but this was pretty much close to perfect if it wasn't for that. So just my 2 cents on the pre-market. And anything else we wanted to talk about? The WDC, that was another thing that worked this morning. Same idea. It was just a different stop. Look at this. If this is the 2 minute, that's where we took the other one. 41.70, where do you stop it? Yeah, it's the same thing actually, 42 and change. So one of you took this. So if you decided between the WDC and STX, both worked. If you took both, well done. Okay. So nice job this morning on that STX. Remember, money management is the key. If you're going to keep trading it or manage it like a novice trader or manage it with fear, you will not be able to move on and make this a career. It's as simple as that. So I know you said to yourself, from tomorrow, today was the last day I'm going to do it. And you keep doing it. You keep doing it. You have to find a way to stop doing it. Okay. So this is, I think, the key lesson for the day, money management. Size, take the right size and manage it like you should. If it's a winner, let it run. If it's a loser, kill at 1 hour. As simple as that. Okay, guys? With that said, questions?